Stephen A. Smith, First Take, Big Perk, all together, came on today and gave huge compliments towards Caitlin Clark, huge praise. And not only there, they were on Twitter as well, giving love to Caitlin Clark, and people seem to not like it, man.
Stephen A. Smith had a passionate outburst on national television, and this time, it had nothing to do with someone disrespecting the Cowboys or leaving LeBron out of their top 5. No, this time, his intensity was directed at the WNBA, specifically the ongoing debate around the MVP race. At the center of the storm, none other than Caitlin Clark. Stephen A. launched into a fiery, energetic monologue that could probably be heard from the studio parking lot, complete with dramatic gestures, raised voice, and so much intensity. It nearly fogged up the First Take cameras.
She is just different. She's special. Just a different type of electricity, man. Did you hear the roar of the crowd while that shot was in flight? Like, I'm expecting big things from her, especially MVP.
You know, it's more than just a debate when Stephen A. starts pacing and dropping words like thunderbolts. It's a full-blown spectacle. And when he focused his energy on Caitlin Clark, it was explosive. What started as a sports monologue quickly transformed into something straight out of Broadway. Passionate, dramatic, unforgettable. He didn't just endorse the idea of her winning MVP, he demanded it. If you weren't convinced before, well, Stephen A. probably just persuaded your conscience to reconsider. If you believe Caitlin Clark deserves MVP this year, drop a Caitlin for MVP in the comments below. Let's go.
Remember this, last year, in her rookie campaign, it was immediately after she had gone to the national championship game in the NCAA tournament, and then less than 2 months later, she's got a WNBA season where she started and played all 40 games, finishes the unanimous Rookie of the Year, all WNBA first team, finished 4th in league MVP voting.
Now, let's be honest, subtlety has never been Stephen A.'s style. This man doesn't whisper, he erupts. When he talks basketball, it's not a conversation, it's an audio earthquake. And this time, the epicenter wasn't Madison Square Garden or Crypto.com Arena. It was Indiana. Because Caitlin Clark has been delivering so much on-court magic, even the loudest voice in sports media had no choice but to turn up the volume once again.
Caitlin Clark, she put on a show in our old stomping grounds in Iowa versus Brazil.
It all started back in her old stomping grounds in Iowa, lighting it up against Brazil. Now, the WNBA's most dangerous sophomore, the queen of logo threes, the walking ankle breaker, has officially entered Stephen A. Smith's zone of obsession. From the moment she stepped into the league, casually pulling up from deep like it was a free throw, you just knew it was only a matter of time before Stephen A. went full DEFCON 1. Spoiler alert, that moment has officially arrived.
I think she's ready. She know it's her second year. She know what type of physicality it's going to take. Look like she's always in great shape, never afraid of the moment. Again, we're talking about Caitlin Clark here. The spotlight been on her for years. She's not going to shy away from it. I expect her to be in the MVP conversation.
What can only be described as a caffeine-charged verbal eruption, Stephen A. shattered the sports media sound barrier to say what many have been thinking, but few have dared to admit. Caitlin Clark might just be the real MVP. Not someday. Not eventually. Right now. She's the kind of player who makes veteran defenders question everything and keeps opposing GMs awake at night, wondering how they ever let her slip through their fingers.
Now I'm looking at the regular season, leading all rookies in scoring, field goals made, three-point field goals made, assists, steals, and minutes. She's the real deal. Make no mistake about it.
And this wasn't some throwaway segment. Buried at the end of the show, this was a full-blown Stephen A. production. You could almost hear the ESPN camera crew silently begging for a commercial break as he launched into an epic hot take performance. Somewhere between "she's a walking bucket" and "she's redefining the league," his message rang loud and clear. Caitlin Clark isn't just here. She's taking over. She's dropping dimes, drilling logo threes, and turning defensive. Game plans into viral memes.
What does she mean to women's sports?
I just think that she's elevating the profile of women's sports in a way that most women should deeply appreciate. She's a phenomenal player. She's a phenomenal shooter. I call her the Steph Curry of women's basketball. I've been calling her that since last year.
Let's not pretend this came out of nowhere. Stephen A. didn't just hop on the Caitlin Clark bandwagon. He's been riding shotgun since her Iowa days, hyping her up like she's got Steph Curry's range, Diana Taurasi's fire, and Sue Bird's floor vision, all wrapped in angles tailor-made for social media highlights. But this time, he wasn't. Hinting, he was hollering. He didn't suggest MVP, he demanded it. As in, why are we even pretending there's a debate? As in, how many more logo threes do you need before handing her the trophy? As in, if Caitlin's not leading your MVP list, maybe it's time to turn in your analyst bat.
You want to promote the sport. You put that girl up in there, and people were appalled at that notion.
Stephen A's take didn't just enter the MVP conversation, it hijacked it. His rant reset the entire narrative. It wasn't a hot take. It was a public service announcement. MVP voters, we hope you were paying attention because Stephen A just grabbed the sports media megaphone and said what every packed Fever arena has been shouting all season. Caitlin Clark is different. And honestly, is MVP even a big enough title? Let's pause for a moment and appreciate the sheer absurdity of her rookie year. This isn't just a strong start. It's a basketball fever dream. She's casually putting up video game numbers, treating triple teams like practice drills, and throwing passes so precise, she might as well be threading a needle from half court.
Crazy is, you had Monica McNutt, Andrea, Shanae, all on the panel right before the game, and they had a graphic, an interesting graphic that popped up, showing that Caitlin Clark had the best odds to win the MVP this year. And man, I wish I could hear what they were saying.
The analysts are short-circuiting, trying to make sense of her advanced stats, sky-high true shooting percentage, absurd assist ratios, and a historic influence on ticket sales. Viewership, merchandise, and national buzz. The impact? Unprecedented. And yes, the bodies are piling up. Defenders are out here needing therapy and fresh ankles after getting spun in the Caitlin Clark blender. She's not just a player, she's a cheat code. It's as if the WNBA accidentally imported a next-gen superstar from the future, and now no one knows how to contain her. While most second-year players are still figuring out defensive rotations, Caitlin's out here draining game winners, signing autographs mid-dribble, and calling plays like the team's offensive coordinator.
Start with our 2025 WNBA MVP, and that has to go to the one and only Caitlin Clark. You can say I'm glazing, you can say I'm hyping her up too much, but I truly think that this second year for Caitlin Clark is going to be like nothing we have ever seen.
When Stephen A snapped, he was right on time. And the best part? It wasn't just what he said, it was how he said it. With the energy of a preacher at a tent revival, the theatrics of a man possessed, and the conviction of someone who's witnessed greatness in every era and knows it when he sees it. At one point, you half expected him to levitate or start tossing holy water on the production crew. It was glorious. It was chaotic. It was vintage Stephen A.
You got a girl here who's box office in Caitlin Clark. She is box office. We can lament it all we want to, but the fact of the matter is, Caitlin Clark is box office. And we got to get that out the way. And I'll get into all of that a little bit more in just a second because it's very, very important that we point this out. She fills seats. She brings the cameras. She brings national publicity. It's what she...
Somewhere out there, the old guard of WNBA media probably winced because nothing shakes up a traditionalist more than a generational player like Caitlin Clark being crowned MVP by the biggest voice in sports. Caitlin's not waiting her turn. She's taking it. Stephen A just gave her the ultimate endorsement. If you're still holding out for someone else's MVP, it's time to accept what fans, odds makers, and 15,000 screaming fans in Iowa already know. Caitlin Clark is that girl. And of course, Stephen A can't go 5 minutes without dropping Hall, of famer names like seasoning in his favorite dish. Magic, Bird, Jordan, he rattled them off like unlocking legends in a 2K draft, each one delivered with the drama of announcing royalty.
About her, and who's to say they ain't gonna lose again and not win a championship? We're still talking about her. Remember, when Bird and Magic, as phenomenal as they were, the champions that they were, there came a point where despite the greatness of them as individuals and the greatness of their teams collectively with the Hall of Famers they were playing with, we were still talking about Jordan. Before he won the title, Tim, am I lying? Wendy, am I lying? We were talking about him. When's his time? Because we were clamoring for it. And I'm telling you, that's what people, when it comes to women's basketball, are going to be doing with Caitlin Clark. This girl is a superstar. I've been saying it for years. I keep telling everybody she's the Steph Curry of women's basketball, college or pro. She is a superstar. And to speak to her, to be around her, she's got charisma, she's got style, she's got bravado, she's got class, she's smart as hell. Communicates her thoughts very, very well. She is so incredibly marketable. Coming into the NBA and the WNBA, you could just feel, I don't want to use the word resentment at all, because it's not fair to women basketball players out there who may have critiqued her. But what I'm saying is that when you're talking about her greatness, it is perfectly okay for those who have been great to say, okay, let's see what you... I love this one. I really do. I love this young lady. I had the pleasure of doing an event with her, during Iowa's homecoming, because my man Mark Shapiro for WNBA took me down there, and we were panelists. 10,000 people showed up. It was absolutely phenomenal. This girl is the best in the world. Clark is coming. Some people think she's already arrived. I don't. I think she's going to be even better. And I think that what she has done for women's basketball, especially in this country, has been phenomenal. There is no woman, no matter how great you were as a player.
When she came into the WNBA, for 22 plus years, they had been flying commercial. They were begging for chartered flights. She arrives there, and 2 weeks later, they got chartered flights. She automatically and instantaneously improved the conditions. Attendance is still lagging. WNBA is still losing money compared to what you would hope it would earn, but clearly things are on an upward trend.